I think there's a line at one point near the end that one of the ex-IBLP TikTokers says, where basically like as they're all kind of rallying around, like they have a website they start to share these stories of abuse and all this,
right?
Where he kind of says like, we were, now we're online talking about this because we've kind of been like, they kind of equipped the people who could then undo this was the kind of argument. And like, you see that, I think there's a lot of that in the last 5 to 10 years of the idea that like, oh, actually evangelicalism or fundamentalism or whatever you want to call this actually built the people who could undo it by the ones who sort of got out.
Right.
And, like, have you heard of this, like this idea of deconstruction? They talk about this, I think, at the end. This phrase, like, I know you've heard the phrase deconstruction.
Yeah, I know what deconstruction is. Not academic deconstruction.
Not the academic.
Not philosophical.
But you haven't heard. So like, yeah, like this is this thing where it's kind of like the whole evangelical term of like people who have left this stuff, who then go through this process of deconstruction of sort of purposefully reevaluating all of their beliefs.
Okay.
With the idea that I have to deconstruct, like, okay, how do I actually think about sex and gender? How do I actually think about hell?
Okay.
How do I actually think about the world? And this sort of, it's almost this sort of like self-done deconversion process. But it's very, what?
Well, it reminds me, I mean, like, is it like deprogramming, like what people call deprogramming
like,
inside of cult rhetoric?
Yeah, that used to it's like deprogramming, but that used to require like a psychologist that would kidnap you from wherever you were being held by a cult.
Right. But
cult
it's sort interventionist.
Yeah, it's sort of a self-intervention. I think the best definition of evangelicalism is all the people who can't stop talking about evangelicalism, which it's a very like inversion of the conversion narrative you grew up on in this fun way. So like funny way, because like
using the same tools to articulate a different message.